2 titanium ceramics is an achievement in Bloons Tower Defense 6 where you need to complete an entire game of chimps using just 2 towers. Yes, we're on logs, one of the easiest maps of the game, but we need all of the RBS available in order to do this particular combination. Superstorm and Special Poperations. We are obviously going after that Special Poperations first, and then going up to Superstorm after that. But beforehand, we need to actually be able to afford said towers. Whichever one you get first is up to you when it comes to Hard Thorns and Thorn Swarm. For me personally, Hard Thorns and then Thorn Swarm, but I don't really have any particular criticism either way. Just get them so that we can get the Heli Pilot down and ensuring that we can pop camo balloons. When it comes to the Druid, we need to get Special Poperations first before we can even consider going up to tier 3 because of the fact that we need the Marines for round 59 and all of the camo leads which are on that round, which neither tower at the time can pop. Obviously the Superstorm can pop camo leads, but yeah, that's a big price tag. Too big of a price tag to afford for round 59. I think even if this is like the only tower which you have down, you won't be able to get to that point. Now, since we have the Special Poperations, we have the unique trait in this run of being able to move our Druid around. So if it's in a different spot, then when we start out, then obviously that's just down to the fact that we can move it about using this support Chinook's ability of being able to move stuff about. Now, just because you have Heart of Thunder Druid on first does not mean that the Heart of Thunder lightning that it shoots out will actually target the firstmost balloon. It just goes whichever direction it wants to go, it feels like. And now we have the money for the Heli Pilot. Wherever I put you, just as long as it's not in a spot where you're wanting to put down a Marine, then that is entirely okay. Since the support Chinook in the 50s is going to be our only camo popper, there are some rounds in the 50s which we need to be wary of when it comes to, well, having camo balloons, because this Chinook is the only thing that can actually pop them. So we need to go with quad darts. We're literally forced to do it with quad darts and not with the faster firing to get the better Marines later on, but with this particular combination we have to go with quad darts. But thanks to having the Druid, the lead balloons early on are no problem, just like so. We should get Heart of Oak now so that we don't have regrow problems later on. But we're literally stuck with this, otherwise we cannot afford Special Poperations for round 59. Unless for some odd reason you could skip out Heart of Oak, get Druid for Storm, and then be able to cash bug enough in order to be able to afford Special Poperations for round 59, but I'd rather not take that risk, to be honest, and experiment what kind of things that I would need to do, like on, let's say, round 49 or any other regrow heavy round between now and 59. I don't even think you can make that amount of money anyway. It's just simply because there's not enough regrow balloons in order to actually make the bug happen effectively. Now we have downdraft for our heli, which is really important because we can now blow back the balloons, and when we go up to support Chinook, our darts will do double the damage, which is very important. Obviously paired with quad darts is very, very important. But also we have more blowback pierce, which means there can be more balloons nearby the heli and it won't be pierce capped when it comes to the blowback department. There we go. We've done this particular 2TC with the Apache Prime and the Comanche Commander paired with a Superstorm, but so far not with Special Poperations. Hey, do you like the 50s and you like to use support Chinook as one of your choices of a 2TC's tower? Well, guess what? You're going to have a fun time with all of those rounds, especially like 49. I know it's not in the 50s, but that's still a really annoying round for this combination. And a lot of other combinations which involves the support Chinook as your main damage dealer at that given point in time. Even though if you look at things, this is still in the lead, but This will slowly overtake. This thing that keeps weaving about my cursor. Like I'm not even moving the cursor. I'm not doing this. This is just the Heli City mechanics here. I've not been able to do a proper reset on the cursor. You are in a Beyblade competition, and your final opponent is the wibbly wobbly support Chinook. You just don't stand a chance, okay? Just let the wibbly wobbly... I can't recreate it now. It sometimes happens, but other times it doesn't. Okay, here we go. Round 49. This is a round where I really do not like these ceramics, but the only good thing about having this Druid is that once it makes contact with the regrow rainbows on this round with any of its attacks, the regrow property will be removed, but we just need to be able to deal with everything that was within these Chinooks, and blowback here is very important. Oh, come on. Take out the regrow properties on them. Oh, come on. Wretched pink balloon. I knew I was going to get pierced cap there with a blowback because of what balloons which were going up from the south. Yeah, as it turns out, I'm not what you call the very best, like no one ever was when it comes to this sort of shtick. Yeah, not a fan of this, not a fan of this. Oh, this is why I hate that bottom right corner for a lot of this run. We're holding them in place. Okay, it's going to eventually weave out like it just did there. Lovely. Once you start noticing the balloons not making as much of an impact when it comes to your blowback pierce, that's when you know you've stabilized the scenario here. So rounds 54 and 55 has a lot of ceramics, and not only is there a lot of them, but they're all kind of together and not spaced out. Like 55 has groups of ceramics, but they're still very much well and truly together. And the Druid sometimes is just a yellow balloon and pink balloon generator from the ceramics. Like, for some odd reason, this thing loves to turn ceramics into pink balloons and yellow balloons, and I do not know why. And the annoying thing about round 54 and all of the ceramics that spawn on that round is that it also has 2 Moabs on that round as well. And if you focus too much on the ceramics which are on the round, okay, guess what? You're not going to be able to damage the Moabs in time, which means you're going to have to trickle both of these kind of threats down simultaneously, and that's not really easy when it comes to this sort of stuff, okay? And yeah, as I feared, there's just too many loose balloons about, but we need to start damaging this Moab at some point, otherwise they're just going to trickle on through. Please pop them. Druid, would you please aim at the front with your stupid thunder and not aim anywhere else with it? It's not necessary to aim near the beginning of the track when the first most targets are right near the very end of the track. What's up with this mechanic? Maybe we need to let some of these through, to be honest, and then just divide this up into like 2 segments. One that's blown to near the beginning of the map and one near the end of the map, just so that we can control this horde a bit more easily. But just looking at all of these balloons, why do you keep creating so many balloons, Druid? I think we've got the situation stabilized now, which is good, but we still need to damage this Moab. Go down, please. Are you kidding me? The last frame? I do need to damage this Moab at some point. Otherwise, it's just going to make its way to the end of the track. It's all well and fun trying to control everything, but hey, guess what? Hey, guess what? Some of the ceramics were blown back, but not that one. Obviously, the game decided it didn't want me to win that attempt. Okay, finally, for some odd reason, we was able to do more damage with the helicopter that time. Don't know what caused that, even though I started popping the Moab or the second one exactly the same spot as last time. I just hate artificial difficulty or artificial RNG. I know it sounds stupid and all that, but I feel like there's just some things put in the game which is completely RNG. That is completely outside of the player's control, in which some people insist that there is a way in which you can manipulate RNG. RNG in the name is random. You can't control it. Now, the other stupid round in the 50s for this kind of combination is just because of the sheer amount of balloons on the screen. Luckily, the Moab spawns later on in the round, which means we have enough time to deal with everything. But there's still the small problem of being able to deal with everything, and the helicopter sometimes not facing the correct way in order to pop the first most mobs on the screen, because by default it targets what should be the first thing that's going to exit the track, or maybe it's the closest thing. Actually, I think about it now, it's the closest thing, not the first thing. Oh, a whole bunch of camos still left, but that is perfectly fine. Okay, we are past the difficult aspect of this game. Now, the only truly difficult round should be round 100. Because the Superstorm is a mighty asset for round 98, being able to blow back all of those huge numbers of fortified BFBs and ZOMGs. Well, I know when it comes to RNG, there's a lot of predetermined stuff when he goes into the game. Like your version of this run might have some different events that transpires by. Like, let's say with the Heart of Thunder, sorry. I almost called it Heart of Lightning. Actually, it's Heart of Thunder. Shut up. They both do the same thing. It's just that one of them personifies the sound and the other one personifies the light. Okay, we can move on with our day, I think. Okay, round 59. We need another 1,000 or so before we can get the special Poperations to summon down the Chinooks required. Or the Marines required, sorry. And we're... Okay, please pop the frontmost things on the track. Okay, there we go. There is the Marines. We just need to plop one of them down. And we have it. Ladies and gentlemen. I actually forgot that we had regrow balloons on that round. It's simply because of a Heart of Oak paired with Heart of Thunder. Now we are truly in the game now. Nothing else to worry about. And because of how tight money was, that was why we needed to hold off on Druid of the Storm. Otherwise, we couldn't afford the money for the camo legs on that round. But luckily, we are there now. We are past the annoying part of this game. And let me tell you this right now, when it comes to a battle around 100, we need to constantly move the Superstorm when the time comes, because it has much needed damage in order to take down the bad. This would be easier if we had 052, but because of the camos in the 50s, we needed the quad darts over the faster firing. I'm sorry. We can hold them at the beginning of the track if we have enough firepower going on here. Lots of surge going on here with our top half Druid. Do you know how I can see Ninja Kiri nerfing the Superstorm? By removing its camo detection. When it actually by default, when the game released, did not have camo detection. Yeah, it's too hot in the UK at the moment for me. It's like high 20s at the moment, and I really hate anything that's like above the mid 20s. This is degrees Celsius, by the way, not Fahrenheit. None of that stuff. We measure in centigrade. Celsius, I mean. I think if you're used to 30s, if not high 30s, then you're obviously more adept to that sort of environment, because for most of your life you've been grown up in that environment. Adaptability, I'm not too sure if that's how you want to call it, but your adaptation to your environment, and the longer you are in that environment, the more likely it is that you adapt to those surroundings, to that climate, to all of that sort of stuff. Whereas if you live, let's say, in the north of Canada, you're not used to the high 30s and the possible 40 degrees centigrade. You're used to the same figure, but with a minus at the start. My preferred choice is somewhere down the middle. Preferably like in the high teens and low 20s. That for me is the most optimal kind of temperatures to ever have. High teens, low 20s. Hot enough so that I can wear my summer shirt, but cool enough so that I don't absolutely sweat buckets just by sitting in a chair, looking at a screen, playing a game involving monkeys throwing darts at multicolored balloons. Alright, the last fortified BFB. No thank you. Any chance of a regrow balloon? Completely extinguished. We need a Heart of Oak over the Heart of Vengeance, just simply because regrow balloons would be a massive problem otherwise in the mid-game. And you should go down soon. Obviously, if we had the faster firing, it would benefit the Marines, but I've already gone over why we couldn't do that. Right, we're not exactly in space, so I'm going to go with log Marines. Marines which are also very good at logging wood or logging onto a computer. This is what we call stalling, ladies and gentlemen, and sometimes it is really good in a normal game of chimps to get your abilities back. Okay, take care of you. Yes, we have. And soon, with 15k more, we can finally unleash every single Florida's worst nightmare. A massive storm. Actually, saying that, none of us would want to have over 100-mile-an-hour storms or anything like that. Like in the UK, I think the most severe one we've had as of late is in 1987. And apparently there was no prior warning towards it. It just sort of happened. We should be able to get the Superstorm mid-round 87, which is going to be very optimal to be able to help clear out the rest of the round. Yeah, and the special Poperations. What's really bizarre about the special Poperations, or like the support check in general, is that if it encounters a ceramic balloon and tries to blow it back, it adds a further cost to its blowback pierce. Whereas, like with a normal balloon, it's just 1 pierce, but with ceramics, it counts as 2 pierce to its blowback. I think it's called a blowback penalty, where if it try and blows back a particular target, then you essentially, it's like having the pressure ability in Pokemon, but obviously for the blowback feature of the Heli. Okay, ZMGs, I need you to grant me the moolah that I require in order to go through this. We have the money for Zeus himself, and he will definitely blow them away. We now have 2 towers. Actually, technically, the Druid of the Storm was able to blow stuff back, but not to the same degree as the massive storms that the Superstorm can muster. Okay, would you please blow them back? Okay, for a while there, it just didn't do anything. Why was that the case? Maybe he just didn't fire out with huge storms like that. Okay, I'm going to put a Marine there just so that the round does not last for an eternity. Notice my stupid placement for the Superstorm. Well, because we have 2 means of blowing back balloons and 1 means of blowing back Moabs, we can risk having our towers at the very beginning of the map. Today's weather forecast: Superstorms with a hint of marine action. DDTs, not a problem. Yeah, I think the biggest buff Ninja Kiwi has given this in like the past 20 updates or so is granting the Superstorm camo detection. And I think one of the worst things that they have given the other upgrades to it is the frigid damage type, rather than plasma, which is significantly better as a damage type, because you're not always going to encounter a purple balloon on a round, but you're always going to have the chance of encountering a white balloon on a round. Now I'm curious as to how this fares in this spot. Are we going to succeed? It doesn't look like it, but they sure damn well are. What a stupid spot for this tower, but it just works, okay? Man, I like the Superstorm. It's a good tower. You could say that the Superstorm's performance blows me away. Right, 97. If you're thinking about making a coffee and the Superstorm is the only thing that is damaging balloons, then this is a great opportunity to make yourself a hot drink or something, because this is going to take a while without the use of a Marine nearby, and we're going to put a Marine by because there's no way in which I'm waiting that long. This is not one of those combinations, I don't know, like Superstorm and Perma-Spike, or Balloon Crush and Perma-Spike. Not one of those scenarios. And there goes round 97. Lovely. Okay, round 98. There is a huge amount of balloons on this round, but we're going to be able to do this, and we're going to do it extremely well here. Piecemeal style. The Moabs are definitely escaping, but this is brilliant. Like the little ones, the special operations helicopter itself can ensure that not too many of them can have the possibility of getting past. Like, I like towers with utility. You need a tower with utility. You can't just have raw power in a normal game. You need that utility. You need the slowdown, the blowback, the stuns, everything along those lines. Okay, now what about round 99 and all the ruckus, the Uncle Ruckus that goes on throughout this round? Whoa. Well, that was stupid. I did not expect that to happen. I did not expect that to be a thing. You were supposed to be... You were the chosen one. You were supposed to blow back with fortified DTs, not let them through. For goodness sakes, my mans. Okay, round 100. And now we have, folks, the finishing touches. I wish I put the Marine down a bit earlier along the track, just so that it has a bit more damage to it. But hey, I think we have the track length to be able to make this a possibility. Right, you're now out of the range of a Superstorm, which means you're going to have to be moved. But luckily, we can move the any towers really quickly, just because of the short cooldown time that the support Chinook aspect of the special operations has when it comes to moving a tower. And you are kind of whistling down, but we need more firepower. We need constant marine action. And we're going to move you over here now. Alright, hopefully, yeah. I think we're on the last 25% of its HP now, and we're possibly at 75% of the way through the track, so it's going to be pretty tight here. I think the start of round 100 is definitely very important. Okay, I'm going to move you over here just in case you're able to take care of the back. There we go. There we go. So it can be done on shorter maps as well as logs, just because of where we pop the bad. And that wasn't even the best sort of microing for these towers, honestly. Okay, how to finish off a special Poperations run in a 2TC? Put your towers in stupid, illogical spots and confuse people that don't know the context as to why that tower's in a stupid spot, and normally it would not really work in a 2TC scenario. Because you can move your stuff. Okay, there we go. Just the last CMG, they're being blown back. That was at the very beginning of the track. Where are you going? Right. Time to put you definitely at a stupid spot. The Superstorm looks like it barely did anything, but it's here nonetheless. So that is the Superstorm and Special Poperations 2 Tower Chimps. Yeah, the mid-game is absolute dog water. We needed to rely on the support Chinook to do the majority of the damage when it comes to the mid-50s, otherwise we just couldn't afford this upgrade for round 59, which is no good. Thank you all so much for watching, everybody. So please let me know what you thought of the video down in the comments sections below. What's going on? Thank you all so much for watching, and take care of yourselves, everybody.